Hello, everybody. Welcome to Championship Predictions Round 37. It is thick and fast time here. No sooner have we finished the weekend round. We've got midweek fixtures to go over. Sam Parkin is here to look at a full set this Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's catch up because we didn't know the full scores from round 35 or indeed round 36. Very close, Sam. It was 7-7 in round 35. And it was 8-7 to me in round 36. So I've made a bit back on the weekly, but the aggregate still pretty heavy in your favour. At the weekend, well done. You had West Brom 1, QPR 0, Bob on. I had Sheffield United 1, Preston 0, Bob on, and Sunderland 2, Cardiff 1, which made the difference. You're 16-15 up in the weekly. You are still 10 ahead in the aggregate, 270, 260. Good morning, Sam. Are you ready for another 2 rounds of championship football and then it's the international break?
Yeah, it's going to be a busy week for everyone, I think. And I'm more than happy with you only being able to claw 1 point back with that deficit you just mentioned. I'm more at this stage of the season. I'm happy with that. Little tight weeks. But I think decent scoring from both of us. You know, I think getting 1 per week score on the nose is fine. So to get multiple as you've done, and yeah, we're ticking along quite nicely, I think. Found a bit of rhythm.
We are indeed. And as ever, the viewers are ticking along quite nicely in the comments. Sam, if you want to get involved, get your predictions in. Go up against myself and Sam. All you have to do is copy and paste from the description down there, all the fixtures, get your predictions in. And the usual scoring system applies. Give yourself 1 point if you get a correct outcome, home, away, or draw. Give yourself 3 points if you get a bob on. And if your bob on has 5 or more goals, it's been months since we've had one, Sam, you're going to get a bonus point. That is a 4-point special. Right, Sam, an interesting one to start. Could you possibly see a Burnley slip at home to West Brom?
Oh, no, I don't think I see them losing the game. But I think if West Brom can keep the full complement on the pitch here, I think there's something for them. I'm going to start the week with a dull, emphatic 0-0.
0-0. To be fair, I'm laughing at Sam, but 0-0 has been successful for him with Burnley this season. I want to believe that West Brom can score at Turf Moor. I think they've got the quality, and I think they've got a manager who'll actually attempt it. I think in doing so, though, he's going to succumb to Burnley, and they're going to win this one 2-1. So I will take both teams to score, but I'm going to go for a Burnley 2, West Brom 1 to start things off. It's Cardiff versus Luton. It's a horrible couple of fixtures for Luton to go up to Burnley on Saturday and then across to Cardiff on Tuesday. And this is a massive, massive game down at the bottom, Sam, isn't it? Let me just bring my table up so I can get that points differential. Yeah, Cardiff are really going to be targeting this. They're 5 points ahead. If Cardiff beat Luton, they will be obviously 8 points ahead of Luton with 9 games remaining, and they'll be doing some ticking off. So it's a really, really big one, Sam. I think we could look back at it if Cardiff do go and get the win as a real pivotal afternoon. And I'm struggling to find a reason why they wouldn't, given Luton's away form. I really don't want to do this because we're really getting close to Luton having an R by their name if this happens. But Cardiff 1, Luton 0, muggy, horrible, muck and bullets. And that would be a huge result, Sam. There's a lot riding on this one, mate.
There is. This could be a pivotal week, couldn't it? For, I think, a lot of clubs, you know, not in the terms of there's going to be an R next to their name or anyone's going to get promoted or anything. That's not going to be decided this early, clearly. But yeah, I think this is a
8-point gap.
game. Massive game. Off the top of my head, have Luton only still had the 1 solitary away win? They certainly haven't won under Bloomfield, have they? Because it was just the 1 home victory under him so far.
1 away win, 15 defeats in 18. Nobody has fewer away points.
Away at Millwall, if memory serves. I was there, and they didn't deserve to win on that day either. So
Luton fans go fund me to send Sam to Cardiff, yeah?
Maybe. Finding it hard to convince myself they're going to win. I think they might be good for a point, though. I'm going to go for an entertaining, kind of topsy-turvy 2-2 in this one, which probably doesn't help anyone.
And it's not going to help the blood pressure of the Cardiff and Luton fans at the same time, as it, Sam? Derby versus Coventry. Derby, finally, first win in 14, Sam. Not sure how much different it will make because the injury crisis for John Eustace just gets worse and worse. And Coventry, 9 wins in 10.
Yeah. Raced into that 2-goal lead, which is always nice, I think, when you're a team who is struggling. And I suppose, John Eustace will be quite confident that his team can probably withstand pressure. That's what he'll, hone in on and as what has made him a real success in the early years of his management, what he can do without the ball. And I think this Derby team will be capable of defending its scoring goals. That's the issue. I wouldn't be surprised if they get a point here because it's going to have to stop at some point for Coventry. But I'm just going to back them after that last-ditch victory the other day against Stoke. I'll go for a 1-2 away win.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the form, you can only really land on a Coventry win, can you? And I do think the real quiz for Coventry is we now know after this game they play second, third, and fourth consecutively either side of the international break. But yeah, I find it hard to make a case for. I totally agree with you that Derby are going to be set up to withstand pressure. They'll get good at it, but don't think it's going to be enough against Coventry. Frank Lampard obviously returning to Pride Park as well. You've taken the 2-1, which I quite like, Sam. So I'll take the 2-0, and then we really find out what Coventry are made of when they have those games against Burnley and Sunderland and Sheffield United. Can't exactly remember the order. Middlesbrough versus QPR. I agreed with what you said on the last check-in pod where, QPR have kind of just dropped off a bit and we're understandably far less excited than we were after that great run kind of going into January. Middlesbrough, Sam, I'll wait to hear your take. Haven't got a clue. Don't know what the hell to make of them. 4 straight defeats, 2 straight wins, and then they go and lose again at the weekend at Swansea, where you think, that's one they could win. So I've got no idea. I'll probably make Middlesbrough favourites, but I'm just going to sit on the fence, mate, and play a 1-1, and I'll be interested to know your take on Borough.
Well, I heard a very disgruntled family of Middlesbrough fans on the radio on Saturday evening when I was driving home. It sounded like one of the most abject away performances of the season at Swansea. I think just the one shot on the target. So they are kind of back where they were maybe in terms of their mood pre-back-to-back victories. Given what you just said about QPR, with no Alexander Frey at the weekend either, lackluster against 10, didn't create much, even in that second half at the Hawthorns. I think I'm going to side with the home side here again. I'm going to go for QPR to score, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 Borough victory, and it'll be a much-needed victory as well if they're going to stay in touching distance of the playoffs.
It will. But the standard is such, Sam, that any back-to-back wins, and they'll be right back in it, won't they? So we'll see. Norwich, Sheffield Wednesday, Sam. Norwich, we expected them to win on Friday. I think both of us backed it, and they drew against Oxford. Sheffield Wednesday, big win down at Plymouth, 3-0.
Yeah, and that gap all of a sudden is 6 points for Norwich to make up. So it's now or never for them, really. I think they're good to get a result here, but Sheffield Wednesday will be buoyant. Quite like 2-2 again. No, I'm going to go for Norwich. And I'm going to go for Norwich. Same score as previously. I'm going to go for Norwich, but 2-1.
Yeah, I think as well, Sam, if you factor in Norwich played on Friday and didn't travel, Sheffield Wednesday went to Plymouth and now they've got to go to Norwich as well. I know we always like Sargent and Science for goals for Norwich, but I think that doesn't help. And give us a shout in the comments if you're a Sheffield Wednesday fan who's going to do both of those games. You have our respect. That's a hell of a lot of travel. But you know what I'm about to say. I'll back Norwich, and I quite like your 2-1, Sam. So I'll go 3-1 Norwich. It is Sunderland versus Preston in the Alan Brown derby. I'm looking here at a bit of a winless run for Preston. Sunderland back-to-back wins again, and like all of the chasers, and we'll get onto the promotion race now, have taken 5 points out of Leeds over the past 2 games. They just need to keep winning, Sunderland, don't they? So I'm going to back them to do exactly that. I think Heck and McCall will mean it's low margin. I'm just going to go 1-0 Sunderland, Sam.
Yeah, that's probably where I would have gone. I just think, FA Cup as well on the horizon. The reality is they've got a 10, 11 point cushion. You're almost talking about that number being safety. Portsmouth, I think, have accumulated, give or take, that amount now as well. And Sunderland, the reality is it's probably going to be playoffs, but they could still come up with a run now to maybe put the top 2 under a bit of pressure. So I think it's kind of must win in those terms. I'll go 2-0.
And Sam, you are going to be covering this one, Sheffield United versus Bristol City.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. And I think as soon as I saw that Pompey result against Leeds yesterday, immediately I kind of rubbed my hands together, just thinking that's going to be a terrific atmosphere at Bramall Lane tomorrow. So hopefully get a really good game. And obviously the home support will be dreaming of that title now. Not that they weren't, but all of a sudden, same points going into a very winnable home game. I think Bristol City always are a difficult team to beat. There's that inconsistency, but they've really responded to, I thought, a bit of negativity about a month ago to prove themselves to be, a good outside shout for the playoffs. Here, I think it's going to be a narrow win for Sheffield United. I think that's going to be my prediction. So I will go for Sheffield United to win maybe consecutive home games by 1-0.
Yeah, I was going to go for that, Sam. So that's a scribble for me. Obviously, that was a bob on for me at the weekend. We love the clean sheet home victory, don't we? I think there's a bit of, I know Bristol City are carrying a undefeated streak, aren't we? I just think there's a bit of frustration there that having gone to Millwall and got that brilliant win to play against Hull with 10 for so long, they would have been hoping, to take the 3 points there. And that would have put them level with West Brom in 6th. This, I think, is going to be too difficult, though, for them. I like your 1-0. So I'll take a 2-0 because I'm just backing on the clean sheet here for the Blades. So I'll go Sheffield United 2, Bristol City 0. Hull versus Oxford, Sam. This feels like a difficult one to call because they're right next to each other in the table, 2 points apart. Hull will overtake Oxford with a victory. I'm going to back that to happen. I think you're going to go low scoring on Oxford. Is it going to be a low margin game? I could take another 1-0, Sam. Feels that time of season. Hull 1, Oxford 0.
Talk about a lot of travelling for Sheffield Wednesday, a lot of travelling for Oxford as well. Norwich on the Friday and then off to Hull. I'm going to go for them to replicate what happened at Carroll Road. I'll go for a 1-1 here. I think that's probably a quite likely outcome.
Right. Big game. There's going to be lots of eyes on this. It's Leeds versus Millwall. And remember, Burnley and West Brom plus Sheffield United and Bristol City play on Tuesday. Sunderland play as well. So imagine they've all won. That would put Leeds in 3rd position and Sunderland would only be 5 points behind then. You'd feel the pressure would really, really be ramped up at Elland Road, Sam. And we don't know whether that's going to happen or not. But what we do know is we need a prediction from you for the trip of Millwall.
Yeah, and they'll want to obviously respond to losing against Millwall in the FA Cup at Elland Road. So great atmosphere you would expect there to be. And I think they will respond. Kind of going to be must win if Sheffield United get the job done. And likewise, Burnley, I think they'll win, and I think they'll win handsomely. And that's not to slight how well Millwall are playing under Alex Neil. I'm going to go 3-1 Leeds.
Yeah, that's eerily what I had as well. I've got in my head, I think Leeds need to score in the first 15 minutes, and that's just going to settle everything, and then they'll go on and win. I think they might be 2 up at half time in this one. And then I was thinking, Millwall will then nick a goal, and then they'll get a third. And I was coming out at 3-1, exactly like you. So I will go for the clean sheet. I think Mr. Meslier needs one after being maybe a little bit culpable for that Colby Bishop goal at the weekend. I'll go Leeds 3, Millwall 0. But I will caveat that if Leeds don't take the lead in the first half of that game, that is going to get very, very nervy. It's Portsmouth versus Plymouth, Sam. And Portsmouth at home at the moment is just a home win. And Plymouth don't have a single away win this season, the worst away record in the entire division. So I echo your points about Pompey getting to 42. It feels like they're a win or 4 points away from being properly safe now, where you're kind of looking at it and saying bottom 3 aren't getting that total. And I think they're going to close in on it again. It would be, 5 wins in 6. So let's go for it. Portsmouth, let's have some fun with this. Portsmouth 3, Plymouth 1.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I think the motivation for Portsmouth will be we're playing the bottom team here. Let's get it done now when we've got it in our hands, if you like, rather than having to rely on another performance like Sunday against teams in the higher echelons of the league. So they can just kind of, hopefully, for their sake, get another victory, and that's almost survival, isn't it? So, yeah, I'll go for them to win, and I'll go for them to win relatively comfortably. I'll go a 2-0 Pompey win.
Watford versus Swansea, Sam.
Well, in keeping with kind of the storyline that I've built in my nut over the last few weeks, I think it's going to be topsy-turvy for Swansea. Yeah. Obviously, a brilliant victory for them at the weekend, and Watford defeated. I'm going to flip it for this one, and Watford to win by 2-0.
I like it. It makes a lot of sense. I'm just trying to think tactically. We've matched each other up a lot on a few of these. I might just play tactically against you, but can I really see Swansea going to Watford and I can't see them going there and winning. Could they get a point? Possibly. I think you get a reaction from Watford after, because it wasn't even that they got hammered by Millwall. It was one of those ones where you're leading at half time and you kind of, fade off in the second half to lose the game. Mate, I'm going to double you up again. Sorry, I'm not going to go for the tactical rogue prediction. I'll go 2-1 then, Sam. Maybe Watford to get 2 up and Swansea to get 1 back. Finally, it is Stoke versus Blackburn. And, mate, if there is a surge from anyone down the bottom there, Stoke are still very prone. 1 point in 4, obviously unhelpful always to lose in the 97th minute, wasn't it? Although at least Mark Robbins has got that trip back to Coventry out the way, because that was always going to be a bit of a circus, wasn't it? Blackburn lost at Derby. I suppose the big saving grace for Stoke is that Luton and Cardiff are playing each other, aren't they? So there's going to be something there for them. I think if they win, it will only be a single goal. No one's played a 0-0 here, have they? I'm going to do that. Stoke 0, Blackburn 0. Not much help for anybody, but given that Cardiff are playing Luton, it's another point on the board and probably some progress.
Yeah, I think this is a really big game because it's one that'll be earmarked by both, especially, after Blackburn lost at Derby, a game where they would have been really confident about taking something. So it becomes massive for them if they're going to make it into the playoffs. I just think, after that second half rally at home, this is one that Mark Robbins will be putting all his energy into getting maximum points. I'll take the 1-0 Stoke.
There you go. If I was going to take a Stoke win, it would have been by that. Let that be known in case that comes in bob on for Sam. Get involved in the comments with your predictions. That is your round 37 slate of games as ever. The fixtures are down there in the description. Copy and paste. Give yourself a point for a correct outcome, home, away, or draw. Give yourself 3 for a correct scoreline. Give yourself 4 if that correct scoreline has got 5 or more goals. We realised there hasn't been a full Championship check-in podcast now because of the scheduling last week and the 3-game week coming up. So you will hear from Sam on Thursday. We'll catch up. And Sam, you're looking forward to being at Bramall Lane on Tuesday, so we can get you in person from that.
Yeah, one of my favourite grounds that I ever played at. I'd probably say the same about Hillsborough, actually. There's just something about those two grounds. Brilliant atmospheres. And yeah, given what happened on Sunday, I'm expecting a great time tomorrow night. And then on to the Den, Saturday, Millwall against Stoke. Early kickoff, I believe. And yeah, if Stoke don't get the points that they desire against Blackburn in the week, that's another biggie for them at the weekend. So it should be two brilliant atmospheres. I think when Millwall and Stoke always turn up to take on each other. Vociferous support, to say the least. So that should be another good one.
Brilliant stuff. And when we hit the international break, we'll do a bit of a state of the nation and we'll get Sam Parkin's take on the final 8 games in a run-in and how everything is fixed. Do check out on the channel. If you do want to hear a bit of a roundup, I did the hot takes yesterday. And there's a bit of analysis at the back end of last week of everybody's running. I know we're now 1 game of data down that I've used, and it'll be 3 by the time we get to the international break. But certainly worth a look, in my humble opinion. Get involved in the predictions, and we'll see you back. There'll be another round of predictions on Thursday, and Sam will be here for the Championship Check-In podcast.